Hi, good morning students. Myself Kulandaraj, accountancy lecturer, SJC College, Bangarpet. Today we are moving on to the ninth problem in the single column cash book. I already said that single column cash book is a type of cash book where we used to record the receipts and payments in a single column, that is in a single amount column we used to record it. It is also called as what? Simple column cash book. It is also, we can call it as single column cash book, that is only cash column will be maintained. Here majorly the bank transactions will not be maintained. So we can move to the ninth problem here. See the ninth problem in the book, that is 4.6 page number. Under that ninth problem, prepare a single column cash book for the month of January 2017 from the following. So from the following information whatever has been given, we need to prepare which cash book? Single column cash book. Under that Jan 1st, opening cash balance 15,280 is given. So opening cash balance is given, means that should be considered under which side? Under the debit side. That will be treated as the opening cash balance. Jan 3rd, received from Rahul on account. So we are receiving the amount. When we receive the amount, our cash balance increases. So it should be taken under which side? Under the debit side. How much is the amount? 4,550. Jan 6th, paid to Kiran on part of settlement of his account. We are paying to Mr. Kiran. How much we are paying? 1,275. So which side we need to consider when the payment has been made? Credit side, because our cash balance decreases. Jan 10th, repaid bank loan 6,000. We are repaying the bank loan. How much is the amount here? 6,000. When we repay, what happens? Our cash balance decreases. So it should be taken under the credit side. Jan 12th, paid wages to house servant 1,250. When we are paying wages to house servant, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under which side? Under the credit side. Again, Jan 15th, bought additional capital rupees 5,000. When the person is bringing the additional capital, so what happens? It increases our cash capital, our cash balance. So it should be taken under the debit side. Jan 18th, borrowed from Vijaya Bank 10,000. When we borrow from Vijaya Bank, what happens? Our cash balance increases. So our cash balance increases means it should be taken under which side? Debit side. Jan 21st, purchased vehicle for office use 8,250. We are purchasing vehicle for which use? For the office use. When we purchase the office use, that is when we purchase vehicle for office use, we are using for the office. So it will is treated as a business expense only. So what happens? Our cash balance decreases. So it should be considered under which side? Under the credit side. See here, Jan 24th, sold goods to Dinesh at 10% discount. Rupees 4,000 is given. We are selling the goods, of course, yes, no? But here any cash is given, word of cash is given, no any word related with the cash. So this transaction will be treated as a credit transaction. So sold goods to Dinesh is given. Sold goods to Dinesh for cash at 10% discount means we can consider. Now we can't consider this Jan 24th transaction. Why? Means we are selling the goods to Dinesh, but on cash is not given. So we need to ignore this transaction. Why? In a cash book we need to consider only the cash transaction. This is a credit transaction. My dear students, when it is given as cash transaction means how we can find out? Means in this particular cash book problems, sold goods to Dinesh at 10% discount for cash 4,000 is given, means it's okay. Now we are settling on what purpose? Credit purpose. So ignore the transaction. Jan 31st, deposited into Vijaya Bank. What we need to deposit? Cash we need to deposit. How much? 3,550. When we deposit the cash into Vijaya Bank means what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So our cash balance reduces means it should be considered under the credit side, my dear students. Coming to the solution in the simple cash book, now you can notice that. So two balance brought down. See here, on Jan 1st, opening cash balance is given 15,280. That should be considered under which side? Debit side. See here, 1/1/2017. Two balance brought down. How much we are considered? 15,280. Same date, particulars rupees. Date, particulars rupees. So two on 1/1/2017, two balance brought down. How much we are considered? 15,280. That is the opening balance given. What is the next point given here? On Jan 3rd, received from Rahul on account 4,550. When we receive our cash balance increases, when the cash balance increases on which date? 3/1/2017 to Rahul's account. It should be recorded on debit side because debit increases. Why means cash is an asset, so we need to record here asset balance increases to Rahul's account. How much we have recorded? 4,550. Again on Jan 6th, paid to Kiran on part of his settlement of his account 1,275. When we are paying, our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under which side? Credit side. What is the date? 6/1/2017 by Kiran account 1,275. Jan 10th, repaid bank loan rupees 6,000. That is, we are paying the bank loan. When we pay the bank loan, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. Our cash balance reduces means it should be shown under which side? Credit side. So on Jan 10th, that is 10/1/2017 by bank loan account 6,000. Again Jan 12th, paid wages to house servant 1,250. When we are paying the wages, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. It should be taken under which side? Credit side. On 12/1/2017 by wages account 1,250. On Jan 15th, bought additional capital rupees 5,000. When we bring the additional, when the person is bringing additional capital means our cash balance increases. So increases means it should be taken under which side? Debit side. On 15/1/2017 to additional capital account, how much is considered? 5,000. Next on Jan 18th, borrowed from Vijaya Bank rupees 10,000. When we take the amount, when we borrow the amount from Vijaya Bank means what happens here? By bank account. Before that, see that any point is left out? No. Borrowed from Vijaya Bank 10,000. When we borrow from Vijaya Bank means what happens? Our cash balance increases. So to Vijaya Bank, how we are getting the source means Vijaya Bank. So on which date? Jan 18/2017. So how much balance increases? Cash balance 10,000. Jan 21st, purchased vehicle for office use 8,250. When we purchase the vehicle, what happens? Our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under which side? Credit side. On 21st of Jan 2017 by vehicle account, how much is there? 8,250. Again Jan 24th, sold goods to Dinesh at 10% discount, 4,000 is given. My dear students, it is not a cash transaction, it is a credit transaction. So we can consider this transaction. You can ignore this transaction. Why we need to ignore? It is not a cash transaction, so it is a credit transaction. How we can find out means, for example, if they given sold goods to Dinesh at 10% discount for cash is given means it is a cash transaction, we can consider. Now we can't consider it is a credit transaction. Ignore the Jan 24th transaction. Jan 31st, deposited into Vijaya Bank 3,550. When we deposit into the bank, when we paid into the bank means what happens? Our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under the credit side. So 31/1/2017 by bank account, how much we need to consider? 3,550. Now make the total on both the sides. So when we are making the total on both the sides, that is debit side total is more. How much is the debit side total? We will be considering 34,830 will be getting. How much is the debit side total? That is of 34,830. The same total to the credit side also 34,830. So from this 34,000, see here, while totaling, make the total on both the sides. Check total whichever is more. Which side is more? Debit side total is more. Write the same total debit side total to the credit side also. In this 34,830 minus the amount of 1,275 minus 6,000, 1,250 minus 8,250 minus 3,550, you will be getting the remaining balance of 14,550. This 14,505 will be treated as what? Balance carried down. So this is the difference amount in which, that is in the cash book. So how much is the closing balance here we are getting for this problem in the 9th problem? 14,505. How you got that 14,505 means 34,830 minus 1,275 minus 6,000 minus 1,250 minus 8,250 minus 3,550, you will be getting 14,505. So this closing balance will become as a next month's opening balance. So next month what happens here? On 1st of Feb 2018, it becomes two balance brought down. How much is the amount? It becomes here 14,505. That is the balance carried down will become the brought down. This is the opening balance for the month of Feb, my dear students. So this is your 9th problem. We can move for the next 10th problem. Okay, my dear students, in the last ninth problem, that is, we got the total balance of 34,830. So that 34,830, when we minus, we will be getting how much? 14,505. That is, the next day's opening balance will become as how much here? 14,505, my dear students. So you can pause the video and you can write, my dear students. So now we can move for the 10th problem, my dear students. The 10th problem, listen here. See that page number 4.6, the 10th problem, the last problem of this simple cash book. Record the following transaction in a simple cash book. So they are given date, particulars, rupees. See the date on 1/1/2017, balance of cash in and 18,000 is given. So this balance where we should consider under the debit side. So 18,000 is the balance we have. On 4/1/2017, purchase goods for cash from Subbanna. So ignore that person's name. We are purchased for cash. Yes, we are purchased for cash. So when we purchase for cash, it should be recorded under which side? It should be recorded under the credit side. So it is an payment made. How much is the payment made here? 3,000. So on 8/1/2017, sold goods to Chandrappa for cash. Again here also ignore the name. It doesn't require the name. Here we have made the cash sales. How much is the cash sales made? 4,000. When we have made cash sales of rupees 4,000, means it increases what balance? Our cash balance. So it should be recorded under which side? Debit side. 10/1/2017, cash received from Rajana, rupees 1,000 is given. So we are receiving from the person Rajana. When we receive, what happens? Our cash balance increases. So it should be taken under which side? Debit side. On 15/1/2017, paid power charges to KPTCL 500. So we are paying what? Power charges. When we pay the power charges, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under which side? Credit side. 18/1/2017, paid commission to Ramappa. Rupees 800 is given. When we are paying commission, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under which side? Under the credit side. 20th/1/2017, paid miscellaneous expenses to Gundappa. So here miscellaneous expenses paid means what happens? It reduces what balance? Cash balance. So it should be recorded under the credit side. Amount is 200. 23rd/1/2017, paid to Ranganath rupees 4,500. When we are paying to Ranganath, what happens? Our cash balance. Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under which side? Credit side. On 26/1/2017, paid salary to Rajkumar 1,500. When we are paying salary, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under which side? Under the credit side. 31st Jan 2017, paid rent to Rajinikanth 2,600. So when we are paying, it is an payment, it reduces the cash balance. So it should be taken under the credit side. My dear students, here simple logic, one thing is there, that is, whenever the cash balance increases, it should be taken under the debit side. Whenever the cash balance decreases, it should be taken under the credit side. Now moving on to the solution in that simple cash book, you can notice here, first point what is given on 1/1/2017, balance of cash in hand, how much is there? 18,000. So you can see in the simple cash book, debit side as well as the credit side. In the debit side on 1/1/2017, two balance brought down. This is the opening balance. How much we have? 18,000. Again see here 4/1/2017, purchase goods for cash from Suparna 3,000. We are purchasing for cash. Leave that person. When we purchase for cash, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So automatically on which date? On 4/1/2017 in the credit side, by purchases account. How much is the purchases made? 3,000, because it reduces the cash balance. Again 8/1/2017, sold goods to Chandrappa for cash. How much is there? 4,000. When we are selling the goods for cash, what happens? Our cash balance increases. So it should be taken under which side? Debit side. So on 8/1/2017, to sales account, how much is there? 4,000. We are recording it. So on again 10/1/2017, cash received from Rajana. How much is there? 1,000. We are receiving from Rajana. So when we receive the cash, what happens? Our cash balance increases. So that should be taken under which side? Debit side. 10/1/2017, to Rajana's account. How much we have considered? 1,000. So coming to the next date, my dear students, 15/1/2017, paid power charges to KPTCL 500. When we are paying, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. It should be taken under which side? Credit side. On 15/1/2017, by power charges 500. On 18/1/2017, paid commission to Ramappa 800. When we pay commission, what happens? Our cash balance, it reduces. It should be taken under which side? Under the credit side. By commission, how much is the amount? 800. So now, my dear students, the next point what is given, 20th/1/2017, paid miscellaneous expenses to Gundappa rupees 200. When we pay miscellaneous expenses, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. On 21/2017, by miscellaneous expenses 200. Again 23/1/2017, paid to Ranganath rupees 4500 is there. When we pay, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. It should be recorded under the credit side by Ranganath account 4500. 26/1/2017, paid salary to Rajkumar 1500 is there. So when we pay, we are not considered with the person. Here we are paying the salary. When we pay the salary, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. It should be taken under which side? Credit side. 26/1/2017, by salary account 1500. Again 31st Jan 2017, paid rent to Rajinikanth rupees 2600. When we pay the rent, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under the credit side, rupees 2600. My dear students, after completing it, make the total on both the sides. Which side total is more? Now you can find the debit side total is more. How much is the debit side total? The debit side total is of 23,000. How much is the debit side total? Total is of 23,000. The same total to the credit side also. How much is there? 23,000. First, what you need to do means total it on both the sides. Check the total, which side is more. Debit side total is more. How much is there? 23,000. The same total to the credit side also 23,000. In this 23,000 minus 3,000 minus 500 minus 800 minus 200 minus 4,500 minus 1,500 minus 2,600, you will be getting 9,900. Understood, my dear students? In this 23,000 minus 3,000 minus 500 minus 800 minus 200 minus 4,500 minus 1,500 minus 2,600, you will be getting how much here? 9,900. So this closing balance in the next month, that is of 1st Feb 2018 to balance brought down, how much you will be getting? 9,900 students. So this is the last problem, students. Remember one thing, students, whenever the cash balance increases, it should be taken under the debit side. Whenever the cash balance decreases, it should be taken under the credit side. Only in the simple cash book, cash transactions will be recorded. For some example, some students may be asked that paid cash into bank. Why we need to record in the cash book? Because our cash balance is reducing, so we are taking under the credit side. Now I will give the additional problems as your homework, my dear students. In the page number 4.7, already I have given 2 additional questions as your homework. This homework problems need to be written and need to be sent to the concerned faculties, my dear students. In the 4.7 page number, move on to the third problem. Already first problem and second problem I have explained and I have given the homework. Now I will explain the third problem, and I used to third, fourth and fifth problem, and I will be giving for the homework. You need to write it and you need to send to the concerned faculties. In the third problem, check here. I will explain it. Take down your pencil and you can mark it, my dear students. Write out the simple cash book from the following transactions is given. 1/3/2009, cash received from Vishwanath is given. Directly they are given what? Cash received from Vishwanath rupees 20,000. So in the debit side, it increases because we are receiving from Vishwanath, the cash balance increases. So it should be taken under which side? Debit side, to Vishwanath's account 20,000. On 6/3/2009, paid for repairs rupees 200 is there. When we are paying for repairs, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under the credit side. 8/3/2009, paid interest on loans rupees 600. When we pay interest, what happens? Our cash balance decreases. So it should be taken under which side? Under the credit side. Again 12/3/2009, received commission. When we receive commission, what happens? Our cash balance increases. So it should be taken under which side? Debit side. 16/3/2009, cash purchase. When we purchase the goods for rupees 6,000, what happens? Our cash balance decreases. So it should be taken under the credit side. 26/3/2009, withdrew cash for personal use rupees 2,000. When we withdraw the cash for personal use, means what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be, it is drawings. It should be taken under which side? Credit side, because it decreases our cash balance, my dear students. Moving on to the next fourth problem. See here, Kolar February 2015 is given. So this is the problem of examination, my dear students. So prepare a single column cash book from the following. So So 2014 March 1st is given. Opening balance of cash rupees 20,000 is given. That is the opening balance means in the debit side to balance brought down 20,000 you will be recording. On 4th, bought goods for cash rupees 4,000 is there. So bought goods means it is a purchase made. So it decreases our cash balance. It should be taken under the credit side. 7th, paid cash into bank rupees 1,500 is there. When we pay the cash, what happens? That is when we pay the bank. When we pay the cash into the bank means our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under the credit side. On 10th, the purchased office furniture with cash rupees 6,000. With cash we are purchasing. When we purchase office furniture, our cash balance will decrease, so it should be taken under which side? Credit side. 17th, paid for stationery rupees 500. When we pay for stationery, what happens? Our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under which side? Credit side. 20th, received cash rupees 3,000 from Kumaraswamy on account. We are receiving cash from Kumaraswamy. So it increases what balance? Cash balance. It should be taken under which side? Debit side. 25th, paid insurance rupees 2,500. When we pay the insurance, what happens? Our cash balance reduces. So it should be taken under the credit side. On 30th, paid salaries to staff rupees 5,500. When we pay the salaries to staff, what happens? Our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under which side? Credit side. So this is the 4th problem, my dear students. This is also an homework problem. Last homework problem is the 5th problem in the additional questions. See that I will be explaining it. You can mark it. Prepare a single column cash book from the following transactions in the books of Messrs. Ratna Traders. So date is given, details rupees is given. On 1/10/2014, balance of cash 1,000 is given. That should be recorded under the debit side to balance brought down amount of rupees 1,000. 4/10/2014, cash sales 6,000 is given. So when the cash sales is given, it increases our cash balance. So it should be recorded under which side? Debit side. 7/10/2014 is given. Cash purchase is given. When we purchase 5 goods for rupees 5,000 means our cash balance reduces. It should be shown under the credit side. 12/10/2014, interest received. When we receive the interest, what happens? Our cash balance increases, so it should be taken under the debit side. 15/10/2014, commission received. When we receive the commission, our cash balance increases, so it should be taken under the debit side. 18/10/2014, paid to Abhishek. When we paid to Abhishek means what happens? Our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken in the credit side. 25/10/2014, received from Prasad rupees 6,000. When we receive the cash, it increases our cash balance. It should be taken under which side? Under the debit side. 27/10/2014, paid to Sagar. When we are paying, it is a payment. It reduces cash balance. It should be shown under the credit side. 28/10/2014, paid office rent. When we pay the office rent, what happens? Our cash balance reduces, so it should be taken under which side? Under the credit side. So my dear students, till now we have completed the entire problems of the single column cash book, that is also called as simple cash book. Only one amount column will be maintained, that is cash amount column will be maintained on both the sides. So simple cash book is a type of cash book where we used to record only the cash transaction in a single amount column. You have seen it. So entirely in the next class onwards we can move for the double column cash book. So be concentrating on this online classes, my dear students. Until it's bye from Mr. Kulandaraj, accountancy lecturer, SDC College, Bangarpet. Thank you, my dear students.